Today, I'm going to walk you through Romanian deadlifts, or RDLs, also known as hip hinges. We're gonna talk through a couple different variations using a resistance band. All right, so the RDL is an excellent exercise to work on mobility in that hip joint region, so pivoting at the hips, and it's also going to focus on building the hamstrings and the glutes. To do this exercise, you're going to need one 41-inch band, and we are also going to be using a pair of Clench Fitness resistance band handles to help make this a little bit more comfortable and make it feel more natural so that you can focus on the lift versus the band digging into your hands. To set this exercise up, super easy. You just basically grab your 41-inch band, add a band handle to both sides, get everything even and set up. We're gonna put this right under your feet, get it centered. You want your feet to be about shoulder width apart. And then you're gonna stand up just like you're deadlifting. Get these handles kind of out in front of you comfortably. And your knees are gonna be slightly bent. That is the key to this exercise. It's not a stiff leg deadlift. I don't want your knees locked because that's gonna put a lot of stress on your hamstrings, as well as if your knees are locked and you start to bend over, you're gonna naturally wanna reach away, putting a lot of stress on your low back. So key point number one, knees slightly bent, bands out in front of you, and then you're also gonna wanna keep a neutral spine. Keep everything nice and flat, and then you're gonna reach back with your backside, with your butt, reaching back, keeping that back nice and flat, and going down as far as you can go before you start to feel stress and before you start to compromise your back. So go as low as you can go while keeping a flat back, and then to come back up, keeping those knees slightly bent, just thrust forward with the hips and squeeze the glutes at the top. I'm gonna walk through this a few more times. The key here is to keep the knees slightly bent, keep the back flat, and these handles should ride right up and down your legs. You want them to be right on your legs. That's how you know you're doing this right. Keep your arms straight, hips forward on the top, big squeeze on your glutes, and then back down. You really want to control the motion here. Like, I don't want you slamming down and slamming back up because that's going to add a lot more stress to your lower back. It's all about control here. Feel those hamstrings stretching out all the way to the bottom, keeping that back flat and squeezing it out the top. So one last key point is to keep your neck in a neutral position. So as you can see, my neck is in line with my spine all the way. I do not want your head to be up. You'll see a lot of people do that. That prematurely hyperextends your back, puts more stress on the lower back. So keep your spine in a neutral position while you're doing this exercise. And control it. Nice, smooth negative all the way down. Don't jerk it back up. Just nice, smooth changeover and a big squeeze at the top. All right, so we walked through the option with one single 41-inch band. That works great. Some people may find that the handles can kind of twist on you or it just doesn't feel as natural. So we have another variation that you can use, and it utilizes a set of these 13-inch mini bands, which you can get from Clench Fitness. It's going to give you a lot more resistance at the bottom. So maybe if you're a shorter individual or something like that, you can use these. And the setup is super simple. You don't technically need the handles. I love to use them because they're a lot more comfortable, and it takes the focus off of my hands and off of hanging onto that band and more on the lift. So you just wrap the bands right around the ears, hook one on each foot, get it centered so it feels good. And now these handles are gonna be nice and out in front of you. And what's cool about this is if you need more resistance, you can stack multiple mini bands together. One thing I do wanna caution you on is you don't wanna stretch these to too far beyond twice their relaxed length. So if you're a taller individual, this may put some extra stress on your bands, so just kind of keep an eye on that. But for the most part, you should be okay with the Clench Fitness mini bands. And it's the same form as before. Now we have our handles nice and out in front of us, mini bands looped around, got our knees slightly bent, back flat, keeping our neck in a neutral position, And the other thing that I might not have mentioned before, keeping that core pulled in tight. That's gonna help lock in that lower back and keep your spine neutral. The biggest thing with this exercise is to try to keep that stress off of the lower back and push it into them hamstrings and into the glutes. Same form as before, nice big stretch, big squeeze at the top, nice and controlled. And you can just bang out the reps like this. Really just going down, and you may find that the more sets and reps that you do, the deeper that you can go. That's just your muscles stretching out. So go as deep as you can go until you feel that big stretch. And again, the biggest key is to focus on reaching back with your butt, not bending over forwards, but reaching back with your butt so that you bend at the hip joint. I don't want to see any other joints moving but the hip joint. All right, so that is how you do it with the mini bands. All right, so there's 2 quick variations of banded RDLs, Romanian deadlifts, hip hinges, whatever you want to call them. You can find all the equipment linked below in the description from clenchfitness.com. And last but not least, if you like this stuff, please be sure to hit that like button and also leave us some comments as to if you have questions, concerns, or what you want to see next. The comments and the likes are what help us to build this channel so that we can continue reaching people like you. That's what our goal is. So thanks for watching, and check the equipment out at clenchfitness.com.